Hi everyone, in this video I will be designing this website using Bootstrap 5, HTML and CSS. So in this website at the top we have navigation and we have some links on the right side and a logo on the left side, and then we have this hero section in which we have a main title, a description and subscription form. Okay, so after that we have the services section. So as you can see, when I enter into the services section, so as you can see we have these services, and when I hover on the service box, so as you can see the animation, okay, looking cool. And after the services we have a call to action section, and after that we have this portfolio section. Okay, so when I hover on the portfolio section, portfolio item, so as you can see the animation, which is looking cool. And after that we have the review section, the customer review section. So in this section we have a slider, so a user can change the slide by clicking on these nav dots. So as you can see, looking nice. And after that we have the portfolio section, the team section. And when I hover on the team section, as you can see the animation, and the social icon appears when I hover on the team member. Okay, so after that we have this milestone section of this company. Okay, and after that we have the blog section, and when I hover on the blog section, as you can see the animation. Okay, after the blog section we have this contact us section. So in the contact us section, on the left side we have this form, and on the right side we have this map, so a user can find the place of this company easily. And after that we have the footer section. So in the footer section we have some links on the right side, and description about the company and their social links, and finally bottom footer. So this website is completely responsive, so let's see this on different devices. So right now that is it is displaying on 1440, and I'm going to change this to the tablet. So as you can see, okay, looking nice. Okay, so let's see on the mobile 350. So as you can see, it is responsive. Okay, looking great. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so you can get the starter template from the GitHub link. I will be put this link in the description of the video, so you can click on the code and then download zip. So you will get this starter template in which we have images and all that necessary stuff. So I already have downloaded this starter template, and so yeah, let's get started. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is to get the navigation. So I'm gonna click on the components, and I'm gonna click on the navigation bar. So I'm gonna click on the navigation, and I'm gonna get this navigation. I'm gonna click on the copy button, and I have copied, and here I'm gonna paste the navigation. Okay, so I'm gonna change this navigation bar, and I'm gonna put an image here. Okay, so I have an image inside the image folder, which is logo dark. Okay, I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna open this file with the live server. Okay, so as you can see, we have this page is open now. So then I'm gonna change the navigation links. I'm gonna remove some of the links. So this will be the home, and I'm gonna duplicate this couple of times. So this will be home services, this will be portfolio, and this will be, let's see, okay, so services, portfolio, testimonials. So this will be testimonials, team blog and contact. This will be the team, and I'm going to duplicate this link. This will be blog and contact. Okay, so that's it for the navigation, and then I'm gonna type section. I'm gonna give an ID. I'm gonna call it hero, and I'm gonna create a container inside this section. Okay, I'm gonna put a column LG column 12. Okay, and I'm gonna put an h1 tag, and this will be, the text will be craft stunning website. Okay, and I'm gonna get the text, so I'm gonna copy the text, and I'm gonna paste the text right here. And after this, we have this subscription form. So for that, I'm gonna search for, I'm gonna click on the input group. Okay, and I'm gonna scroll down, and I'm gonna search for button. So yeah, this is the one that I have used, so I'm gonna copy this one, and I'm gonna create another row. So here I'm gonna create another row. This will be the form row. I'm gonna create a form. Okay, and I'm gonna paste it right here, and I'm gonna remove the margin bottom class. I'm gonna save it, and so let's see. Okay, so this is our page. So I'm gonna design the navigation first, and then I'm gonna design the hero section. So let's get so I'm gonna open style.css file. So these are the colors and all, the box shadow and other thing that I have used. So this will be reset and helper. So I'm gonna type body. So the font that I have used in this finished project for the paragraph and the body is Source Sans Pro, I think, and this font for the heading is Domini, I think. Let's see, yeah, Domini. So I'm gonna change the font family first. So I'm gonna say font family to Source Sans Pro. If this is not available, the font will be sensitive, and I'm gonna give a line height 1.7. okay, I'm gonna change the text color to the body color. Okay, I'm gonna save it. So as you can see, the font has now changed. It's looking perfect. And after this, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select all the heading tags. Okay, the font weight for these is going to be 700. Okay, and the color will be dark. Okay, looking good. And then I'm gonna select the anchor tag. Color will be dark color. Okay, and I'm going to remove the text decoration. Text decoration will be none. And on hover, the color will be the brand color. Okay, awesome. and then I'm gonna select all the images that will cover 100% space. Okay, and then I'm gonna select on the section tag. So all the section will be the space between on the section will be top padding is going to be 100 pixel, padding bottom is going to be 100 pixel as well. Okay, yeah, for now I think the reset section is fine. Okay, so I'm gonna design the navigation first. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push these links to the right side. So I'm gonna add a class to the navigation here. So margin start will be auto. Okay, so if you want to make the these nav links in the center, so you can do that. You can say margin left and right auto. So as you can see, these navs are in the center, so I don't want this. Okay, and I'm going to remove this float. So I want some space between these nav links and the logo. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, so I forgot to add a transition to the anchor text, so I'm gonna add a transition, linear. Okay, so I'm gonna design the navigation. So I'm gonna select the navigation. Okay, then I'm gonna select navbar nav class, and then I'm gonna select the nav links. Okay, so I have selected this navigation, and then I have selected navbar nav and then nav item. Okay, so I'm gonna give a font weight to something like 600 or 700. Okay, and I'm gonna decrease the font size to 14 pixel. Okay, and I'm gonna set the text transport property to uppercase. Okay, looking cool. And السلام عليكم. زه خو دلته افیس کې ما واو خازه صحیح دی ځه څه بس درځم ښه بیا صحیح ده. Okay, and I'm gonna change the text, the nav link text color on hover to on hover, and also when the navigation link has a class of active, then the color will be brand color. Okay, looking cool. So I think the navigation, and also I'm gonna change the background color for this navigation bar. So I'm gonna select navigation bar. Okay, and I'm gonna remove this BG light too. I'm gonna change this to BG white. Okay, and I'm gonna give a border bottom. So I'm gonna select navigation, and if the navigation has another class BG white, then I'm gonna give a border bottom 1 pixel solid. Okay, 0.1. So as you can see, we have this underline the navigation, so I'm gonna say 0.5. okay, this is fine. So I'm gonna design the hero section now. So I'm gonna select the hero ID. I'm gonna give a minimum height 100 VH. Okay, and I'm gonna change the background color for this. I'm gonna change the background color, so not the background color, the background image. So I'm gonna select the image, I'm gonna select the cover. Okay, and I'm gonna set the background size to cover. Okay, and background position to center. Awesome. Okay, so let's I'm gonna add a class to the text, the heading text. So as you can see, I'm gonna give a class display 4 or 5 sorry 3. Okay, looking great. And then I want to place overlay on the image, so the text will be looking clear. So if I put an overlay, so as you can see on the finished project, we have this overlay and the text is looking very clear. So I'm gonna do that. So then I'm gonna put a comma here, and then I'm gonna type linear gradient. So I'm gonna put the first color black, and the second color will be black as well. And let's see, so I think this should be first, and then I'm gonna put here. Okay, yeah, and I'm gonna reduce the opacity to something like 0.6. okay, and I'm gonna reduce the opacity for this one as well, 0.6 for this one as well. I'm gonna save it, and so as you can see, we have an overlay now. Okay, so then I'm gonna select hero. I'm gonna select h1, and the color, I'm gonna select h1 and hero paragraph. The color for these two will be white, so I'm gonna type white. Awesome. And the text will be in the center. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna type text align center. Okay, so as you can see on the finished project, the form is covering like 6 column space, but here it is covering like the whole space, so I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change this color to subscribe, and I'm gonna change the class to button brand. Okay, and the text will be subscribe. So as you can see, we have this row, so this will be column. So I'm gonna give a class column lg6, save it and refresh. So as you can see, it is covering now 6 column space. So I want the form to be in the center, so I'm gonna add a margin left and right to auto. Okay, so the form is now in the center. So then I'm gonna select the hero paragraph. I'm gonna give a maximum width like 500 pixel. Okay, looking cool. And I'm gonna give a margin. So from the top, margin will be like 12 pixel. From the right side will be auto. From the bottom is going to be 28 pixel, and from the left will be auto. Save it. So as you can see, we have some space now. And I'm gonna change the font weight, the font family for this to Domini. Okay, and if this font is not available, then it will be sans serif. Okay, so let's see. And the font for this is going to be 700. Okay, so I'm gonna select the hero h1. Font weight is going to be 700. Save it. So as you can see, the font has no weight is 700. And I want the text and all the text in the paragraph in the center, so I'm gonna add display property to flex and align item center. So now the text and the form is now in the center. So I'm gonna design the form. So I'm gonna select hero, then I'm gonna select let me select this input group. Okay, I'm gonna give a padding something like 12 pixels for now. I'm gonna change the background color to white. Okay, so as you can see, we have this background color now, and I'm gonna remove this border color, and I'm gonna remove this shadow on the focus. Okay, so I'm gonna select hero, then I'm gonna select input group, then I'm gonna select the input field. Okay, and I'm gonna remove the border color, border to none. Okay, so we don't have that border now. And on focus, I'm going to remove the box shadow. So input focus, I'm going to say box shadow none. So as you can see, we don't have that that shadow. So as you can see on the finished project, and I'm gonna change the background color for the input group to, I'm gonna reduce the opacity to something like 0.3. okay, so we have this glass effect. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the background color from the input, background color transparent. Okay, and I'm gonna change the text color to white. So as you can see, that color for this is now dark, and I'm gonna change this color to white. Okay, so now the color is white, looking cool. And I'm gonna design the button now. So I'm gonna select the button. So I'm gonna add a comment here. So you can create a comment by holding control and then pressing / button. Okay, so I'm gonna type button, and then I'm gonna select the button class. I'm gonna give a padding 12 pixel and 28 pixel, and I'm gonna change the font size to 14 pixel, and the text transform will be uppercase. Okay, and I'm gonna give a font weight to something like 700, and then I'm gonna select the button brand class that I have created. I'm gonna change the background color to be the brand color, and I'm gonna give a border radius. Okay, and the color will be white. So I'm gonna select the button brand, and the color will be white. So as you can see, I'm gonna set the border radius to this main button class. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a transition. So before adding transition, I'm gonna select the button, and on hover, so what I want to do, I want to push the button to the top side a little bit. So I'm gonna set 3 pixel on hover. So let's see. So as you can see, we have this effect, but I want this to be like very slow, not very slow, but a little bit. So I'm gonna add a transition. So as you can see, we have this effect now, and on hover, the color should be white as well. On button brand hover, color will be white. So as you can see, looking cool. Okay, so As you can see, the placeholder text is gray, and which is not looking very clear. So as you can see here, the text is very looking clear. So I'm gonna select input group. So I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna paste it right here. This should be, oh sorry, I forgot to focus place. Okay, so this should be placeholder. Color is going to be white. So as you can see, the text is looking very clear. And also I'm gonna add a border radius to this input field. So I'm gonna add a border to this input group. Should be border radius. So I have created this variable, so the border radius is now 4 pixel. Okay, so let's see. So we have this border radius now. Okay, looking perfect. And I'm going to reduce the opacity, the padding. So the padding should be like 6 pixel. Yeah, 6 pixel is looking fine. And I'm going to change this placeholder color. And before doing that, I'm going to reduce the opacity for the placeholder to something like 0.5. Okay, nice. So then I'm gonna change the placeholder text to enter your email address. Okay, so I don't know why. Okay, so this should be the placeholder. Okay, looking great. So now user can set the text to their email address. Okay, so I want this navigation to be stick when user scrolls. So I'm gonna add a class sticky top. Okay, so as you can see, the navigation is now sticky, and I want parallax effect here. So simply you can add, I'm gonna select the hero and I'm gonna set the background attachment to fixed. So as you can see, we have this parallax effect. Okay, so this link should be active at this point. So I'm gonna select this nav. So home, so this should go to the home ID. This will be services, should go to portfolio, and this will be testimonial, team, blog, and contact. So I'm gonna give this ID. So I already have given ID home, and I have used Bootstrap Scrollspy. So as you can see, now I'm in the home section, so this link is active. So if I click on the services, so the services, and it will go to the service section, and this link should be active there. So then I'm gonna create a section, and I'm gonna give ID services. Okay, and I'm gonna create a container. Inside the container, I'm gonna create a row, and inside this row, I'm gonna create a 12 column div. Okay, and I'm gonna put h1. So this will be our services, and I'm gonna copy the text from here. I'm gonna put the text right here. Okay, so let's see. So we have this service section, so I'm gonna put so I'm gonna add a intro here. So I'm gonna give this column intro section, okay, or section intro. Okay, I'm gonna select in section intro, and I'm gonna give a margin bottom 35 pixel. Okay, and then I'm gonna select so I'm gonna set the text align property to center, so I want the text to be in the center. Okay, and I'm gonna select section intro paragraph, and I'm gonna give a maximum width 500 pixel. Okay, and I want this to be in the center, so I'm gonna type margin auto. Okay, looking cool. So I'm gonna design the service section now. So I'm gonna create a row. Inside this row I'm gonna create a column LG4, and I'm gonna create another column here on MD6. Okay, so it means on large and above large, this div will cover 4 column space, and on medium and below medium, medium and up to large, it will cover 6 column space, and below this it will gonna cover 12 column space. Okay, so I'm gonna create a service. I'm gonna create an icon box. Okay, I'm gonna place an icon here. So I have used remix icon, so I'm gonna visit remix icon website. Okay, so I have used these icons in this project, so I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna search for ruler, so I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna copy this icon, and I'm gonna paste it right here, and I'm gonna put H5 text. So this will be the service name, service title, and I'm gonna copy the text from this, and I'm gonna place the text right here. Okay, I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna put a link here. So I'm gonna give a class custom link, and this will say read more. Okay, so let's see. So I'm gonna design the service. So I'm gonna select service box. Okay, and so before doing this, I'm gonna create a helper class. So as you can see on the finished project, when I hover on these boxes, so as you can see the effect. So I'm gonna do this. So on the helper section, so here it is, I'm gonna create a custom card. So I'm gonna give a padding, I think I don't need padding, so I'm gonna give a transition. Okay, and okay, so what should I have to give? Okay, and on hover, I'm gonna give a box shadow. box shadow, and I'm gonna push this card to the top side a little bit, so translate y -5 pixel. Okay, and the background will be white. Okay, so I'm gonna select service and I'm gonna give a padding. From the top is going to be 44 pixel and from the left and right is going to be 24. Okay, and the text will be in this center, text align center. Okay, I'm gonna design the service, the icon box. So I'm gonna type icon box. I'm gonna give a width 80 pixel, height 80 pixel as well. I'm gonna give a background color to this brand color, and the color will be white. Okay, so let's see. And I'm gonna give a border radius as well. So border radius is going to be the border radius variable, and I'm gonna increase the font size to 34 pixel. Okay, and the icon should be in the center, so I'm gonna put this display flex align item center and horizontally center as well, so as you can see. And I'm gonna give a margin auto. Okay, so now this is now in the center. So now I'm going to select service, then I'm gonna select H5. Margin top is going to be 24 pixel, 28 pixel. Okay, and margin bottom is going to be 12 pixel. Okay, looking cool. And I'm gonna design the custom link, so I'm gonna select custom link. Text transform will be uppercase, and font weight is going to be 700, and I'm gonna decrease the font size to 14 pixel. Okay, looking cool. So let me add the custom the cart class that I have created. So I'm gonna have a custom cart. So let's see. So as you can see, on hover you can see the effect, looking awesome. And also I'm gonna decrease the font size for the service paragraph. I'm gonna change the font size to 14 pixel. Okay, now it is looking cool, awesome. And also I'm gonna give a border radius to this card class. I'm gonna give a border radius, awesome. So I'm gonna duplicate this column couple of times. So I'm gonna okay, so looking cool. So I want to give some space between these card vertically, so I'm gonna set gutter top and bottom to 4 rem. It's looking cool. Okay, so I'm gonna change the icon for these service boxes. Okay, so I have changed the icon for the service boxes. So after that we have this call to action section. So I'm gonna design this. So I'm gonna create a comment. So by holding control and you can press the forward slash, so I'm going to create a comment. So this will be CTA. I'm going to give a ID CTA. So I'm going to create a container inside this. I'm going to create a row, and inside this row I'm going to create a column LG something like 8. Okay, and I'm gonna create h1 text. So I'm gonna copy the text. I'm gonna put the text right here, and this should be h2. Okay, and I'm gonna copy the text. Okay, and I'm gonna create another column. This will be column auto. Okay, I'm gonna put a button here. I'm gonna create a button brand, and this will say get started. Okay, and I'm gonna design this. So I'm gonna copy the hero section. Okay, I'm gonna paste the hero section right here, and this will be CTA. I'm gonna remove this minimum height. I'm gonna remove this as well. I'm gonna save it. So let's see. So this will be ID. Okay, and I'm gonna give a padding as well. Like 40 pixel as well. Okay, so we have some space now, and I want the text and the paragraph color to be white. Color to white. Okay, and I'm gonna push this to in the center, and I'm gonna increase the opacity to something like 0.7. Okay, and I'm gonna increase the padding to something like 70. I think 70 will be fine. Okay, 70 is looking fine, and yeah, that's it for the CTA. Okay, so now I'm gonna design this portfolio section. So for that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so we have CTA. So this comment should be CTA. This comment should be, so I'm gonna remove this comment. So this will be portfolio. So I'm gonna create a section. I'm gonna create a container, and I'm gonna copy this first row, the intro section, and I'm gonna give ID home, not home, portfolio, and the text should be our portfolio. So as you can see, we have portfolio section. Okay, so I'm gonna create another row. This will be the portfolio. So in the finished project, we have this one column which is covering like the whole space vertically, And then we have the another column in which we have these 2 items, and the last column is covering like the whole space, just like here. So I'm going to create a column LG4. So this will be the first column. Okay, so I'm going to create a class. This will be project wrapper. Okay, so I'm gonna put an image here. Let's go to the image and I'm gonna type project1. So I'm gonna save it. So as you can see, we have this image now, and I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it right here. I'm gonna remove this. So this will be another row inside this, and this will cover on LG 12 column space, and I'm gonna paste that class here. So this will be portfolio 2, and I'm gonna duplicate this. This will be portfolio 3, and I'm gonna duplicate this class. I'm gonna place that here. So this will be portfolio 4. So as you can see, we have this portfolio section. So I'm gonna design this. So I'm gonna select project wrapper. Okay, so the height will be 100%, so it will gonna cover the available height. And then I'm gonna select project wrapper image. This will cover 100% height as well. Okay, project wrapper. So let me double check this. Okay, so as you can see, this is looking good now. So the image is now stretched. So to fix this, you can add a property object effect to cover. So as you can see, it's looking good now. So I want to give some space right here in this column. So I'm gonna select this row and I'm gonna give gutter top and bottom 4 rem. Okay, or 3 rem. Okay, and then I'm gonna select this row, gutter top 3 rem. So as you can see, we have this space now. Or 4 rem. Yeah, 4 rem will be fine. So we have 4 rem. Okay, so we have equal spacing now. So now I'm gonna design this button and this effect. So as you can see on hover, so I'm gonna put a button here. Brand, and this will be view project. Okay, so I'm gonna set this button to in the center. So I'm gonna give a class position relative. Then I'm gonna select the project wrapper. I'm gonna select the button. Okay, and I'm gonna give a position to absolute. Okay, from the left side it's going to be 50%, and from the top 50% as well. Okay, and I want the button to be exactly in the center, so I'm gonna add a property translate negative 50% and vertically negative 50%. So as you can see, the button is now in the center. Awesome. So on hover I want the button to be like coming from the top a little bit, so as you can see like this. So I'm gonna push the button from the top to something like from the top 40%. Okay, and I'm gonna hide this button now. I'm gonna set the opacity to 0, so I'm gonna hide the button. So on hover I want the button to be visible, and also I'm gonna give a transition. Okay, so I'm gonna select project wrapper, on hover I'm gonna select the button. From the top is going to be 50% and the opacity is going to be 1. So let's see, it's like this, looking great, but the animation is very fast, I think. So I'm gonna decrease the animation. So I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna give a transition. .4 second is. I'm gonna save it. So as you can see, the animation is slow, but this is too much slow, so I'm gonna set this to 0.8. So yeah, 0.8 is fine, and I'm gonna give 0.8 here as well. So when a user hover on this project wrapper, then I'm gonna select the image. So this should be on hover. I want the zoom effect on the image, so I'm gonna set the scale to 1.2 something. So as you can see, and as you can see, it is getting out of the wrapper. So I'm gonna add a property to overflow hidden. So as you can see, we have this effect now and it's looking fine. So in the finished project, as you can see, the image is blur on hover, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add a filter, blur, so I'm gonna set this to 2 pixel. So as you can see, the image is blur on hover, looking great. So I'm gonna add this button to the rest of the other. So I'm gonna copy this. So as we can see, looking nice. So I'm gonna design this customer section now, the review section. So I'm gonna copy this row, the intro section. I'm gonna create a section. ID is going to be testimonial. Okay, I'm gonna create a container. I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, so then so I have used all carousel for this sliders. So as you can see, so I already have included the files for this all carousel. So I'm gonna visit to the all carousel website, and then I'm gonna click on the first link, and then I click on the demos. I'm gonna click on the first one. I'm gonna copy this, Okay, and I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this code, paste the code right here. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this breakpoint. I'm gonna leave it this for now. So let's see. So as you can see, we have this slider. Okay, so I think I forgot to remove this. If you don't load the starter template, you will have this code just like this. So remove that code. So I have did a mistake there. So while uploading to the GitHub, I forgot to remove that code. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna remove some of these nav items for now. I'm gonna format this with Beautify plugin, the code. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this to, I'm gonna change this to review. Okay, so as you can see on the review, we have this stars text and this person. So I'm gonna create a div class of stars. I'm gonna create remix icon star fill. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this star couple of times, so this will be half. Okay, so I'm gonna design this review. So after that, I'm gonna create a paragraph and I'm gonna copy the text. So I'm gonna visit to the Lipsum website. And I'm gonna copy the text, okay, from this website, and I'm gonna paste the text right here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, and then I'm gonna create a person div. So I'm gonna create a div and I'm gonna give a class person. Okay, so inside this person I have an image, so I'm gonna go to the asset image *1 and I'm gonna create a div. Inside this div I'm gonna create a h6, this will be the person name. I'm gonna create a paragraph and this will be small text. Web developer, create a span, this will be from where this person is, so I'm gonna give a fake link name, so something like let me I don't know what I have typed, so I'm gonna type the place should be like, I don't know what to type here. The place should be like Mars. Yeah, this person is from the Mars. Okay, so let me design this review section. So before designing that, so at this breakpoint I want to display only 2 items. Okay, so let me design this review section. So I'm gonna select before designing this review section, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna change the background color for this. So I'm gonna copy this, okay, I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay, so and this should be cover 2, cover 3. So I'm gonna design the service, the reviews section. So okay, so I'm gonna select the review. Okay, so I want the color for this these stars, so I'm gonna select stars. Okay, the color should be orange. Okay, and then I'm gonna select review, then I'm gonna select the paragraph. Okay, the color is going to be white, but it is not going to be completely white, so it's going to be something like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna select the image, review image, width is going to be 75 pixel. I'm gonna add an important flag, so as you can see, and review, then I'm going to select H6 and small tag, color is going to be white. Okay, so I want this to be on left and right, so I'm gonna add a class display flex. Okay, and the item should be in the center, so align item center. Okay, and I'm gonna remove the bottom space, so margin bottom to 0. So you can use Bootstrap utility classes like that, like I have used, and yeah. So then I'm gonna select review span tag. I'm gonna change the color to the brand color, as you can see, this color, and I'm gonna select the review. I'm gonna give a padding something like 34 pixel, and I'm gonna give a border 1 pixel solid RGBA 0.2. so we have this border, and the border radius is going to be border radius. Okay, and I want to give the spaces very these review items are very close to each other, so I'm gonna give a margin at this breakpoint, or you can give a margin right here. So if you give margin here, so it will be on every breakpoint 0 or just like that. Okay, so it's looking cool now, and I'm gonna give a margin on the image, margin int 4 rem or 3 rem. Okay, so I'm gonna give a border radius 100 pixel. Okay, and then I'm gonna select the paragraph, review paragraph. I'm gonna give a margin top 16 pixel, margin bottom 16 pixel as well. Gonna save it. So as you can see, we have some space now, and I'm gonna change the color for this text and that text. So so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select testimonial, I'm gonna select section intro, I'm gonna select H1, I'm gonna duplicate this, color is going to be white. Okay, awesome. And I'm going to increase the opacity to something like 0.8. Okay, it's looking cool. Awesome. So I'm gonna duplicate these reviews items. So I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna change this to 04, 03, 02 and 01. And I'm gonna add another one as well. So I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna change the image for this one as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add center to true. So as you can see, we have this. Okay, so the center true is working only if you have like even items. So it will not gonna work on 3 items or 5, 7. It's like this. So let me add a 4 items so you will see. So as you can see, it is working on the even items, not on the odd or not on the odd items. So yep. So I want to display 2 items at this breakpoint, and I'm gonna give a smart speed. It's going to be something like 700 millisecond. Awesome. Okay, so our portfolio section is ready, but before designing the other section, let me design this nav dots. So as you can see here, we have these dots. So I'm gonna design this. So I'm gonna select testimonial ID. Then I'm gonna select all dot. I'm gonna select the span, and I'm gonna give a width. I'm gonna remove the background color to transparent. Okay, and I'm gonna remove these nav items. So I'm gonna set this to false. Okay, and I'm gonna give a border color, 2 pixels solid red for now. So as you can see, and I'm gonna give a width and height as well. So width is going to be 12 pixel, height is going to be 12 pixel, and the border color is going to be white. I'm gonna give a transition as well, 0.6 second is okay. And I'm gonna change the active link, the active nav color, and the width, span when has a class. So let me find the active class that has been used. So here it is. So when this all dot has a class active, then I'm going to select the span, and I'm going to increase the width to something like 30 pixel. So as you can see, I'm going to change the background color, brand color, and the border color to be the brand color as well. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna design our team section. So I'm gonna duplicate this portfolio section. So I'm gonna copy this intro section, and I'm gonna paste. I'm gonna create a section. I'm gonna give ID home, and inside this I'm gonna create a container. I'm gonna put it here, and this will be our team members. Okay, and I'm going to design the team section. So I'm going to create a row. Inside this row I'm going to create a column LG4 3, and on MD I want to display 6. This I want to cover on MD 6 column space, and on LG and above it is going to cover 3 column space. I'm going to create a team member. Okay, and I'm going to create team member image. I'm going to put image here. Okay, this will gonna go to the image, and I'm gonna find team member 1. Okay, and I'm gonna create a social links. I'm gonna call it social links. I'm gonna put anchor tag, and I'm gonna create another class remix icon Facebook. So let's see. I'm gonna search for the Facebook icon. So I'm gonna get this one. I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate this one. This will be Twitter and GitHub. So as you can see, and here I'm gonna give h5. This will be the person name. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this name. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this text as well. So this will be small text, so I'm gonna paste it right here as well. Okay, so I'm gonna design the team section. So I'm gonna select team member class, then I'm gonna select the team member image. So I'm gonna give a position relative. Okay, so then I'm gonna select team member social. So I'm gonna design the social links. So let's see the class name. Yeah, social links. Okay, and I'm gonna select the anchor. So I'm gonna give a width 32 pixel, height 32 pixel as well, and I'm gonna give a background color white, and I want the icon to be in the center. So I'm gonna say display flex and align item center and justify content center, and then I'm going to select social icons. I'm going to set the property to display flex. And I'm going to change the color for the icon to be the brand color. Okay, I'm going to save it. So as you can see, and I want the icon to be like here. So I'm going to select team member. I'm going to select the team, then I'm going to select the social icons, social links. I'm going to set the position property to absolute. Okay, and from the bottom I want to push it like 20 pixel, and from the left side 50%. Okay, and I'm gonna give a margin as well. Margin left 4 pixel and margin right 4 pixel. Okay, and I want this to be in the center horizontally. Translate X. Okay, so this will make the icons in the center. And on hover I want the okay, and on hover I want to change the background color for the social links. On hover, the background color is going to be the brand color, and the text color is going to be white. Okay, so as you can see, looking great. And I want the icon to be invisible, so I'm gonna make this I'm gonna push this from the top to like 60 or 40, and I'm gonna hide this, set the opacity to 0. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this, and when on hover on the team member class, I'm gonna say from the bottom to 20 pixel. Okay, and the opacity is going to be 1. So as you can see, looking nice. And I want the text to be in the center, so you can select the team member class and text align center. Okay, so I'm gonna select team member h6. I'm gonna say margin top 24 pixel. So let's see, team member h5. Okay, and I'm gonna give a margin bottom as well, so margin bottom 4 pixel or 0. Okay, looking great. And I want the image to be, the image should be zoom in while hovering on this image, on this team member. So I'm gonna say overflow. I'm gonna hide the overflow on this team image. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this, and when I hover on the team, so I'm gonna select the image. I'm gonna say transform scale 1.21. So as you can see, we have this effect, and I'm gonna give a transition to the image, the team image as well. Okay, so I'm gonna select team member, and I'm gonna select the image. So as you can see, we have this effect now, and I'm gonna copy and paste the team member. Okay, so I'm gonna copy, I'm gonna paste it. This will be team member 4, 3 and 2. Okay, so looking cool. So now I'm gonna design this counter section or milestone. Awesome. So I'm gonna duplicate this team section. I'm not going to duplicate this, so I'm going to create a div. I'm going to give ID milestone. Inside this, I'm going to create a container. Inside this, I'm going to create a row. I'm going to create LG3 and column SM6. Okay, so I'm going to create I'm gonna give a class counter. Okay, so this will be the number, so I'm gonna give div. Okay, I'm gonna give a number, so this will be number, so I'm gonna say like 980k. This will be the divider, and this will be the text. So I'm going to remove the margin bottom from paragraph, so I'm going to say trusted clients. Okay, so I'm going to design this. So I'm going to copy this reviews. Okay, and I'm gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna rename this to Milestone. Image is going to be 4. Okay. Okay, cover 3. And I'm gonna give a padding top 70 pixel, padding bottom 70 pixel as well. Okay, so I'm gonna design that number, so I'm gonna select this. Okay, then I'm gonna select number. I'm gonna give a color white, and I'm gonna change the font. Okay, so let me just change this to H1. Okay, nice. So I don't need to give this class. Okay, then I'm gonna select the divider. Okay, I'm gonna give a width 70 pixel and height 2 pixel. I'm gonna give a background color brand color, and I'm gonna say display inline block. This is going to be the divider. Okay, and so I'm gonna select the counter class, and then I'm gonna select the H1. Color is going to be white, and also I'm going to select the paragraph, so the color for the paragraph is going to be white as well. Awesome. And I want the text to be in the center, so I'm going to say text align center. Awesome. And I want to give some space, so margin top 24 pixel. Okay, and margin bottom 24 pixel as well. I think 24 is too much. 16 and 16. I'm gonna select counter H1, and the line height is going to be 1. Okay, so now we have equal space. I think 16 is let me just give 8 pixel. 8 pixel is looking fine. So I'm gonna duplicate this counter. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh, and I'm gonna change this text to something like 110 million. $12,000 theme designed. Okay, 99.5%. Something here. Okay, so now I'm gonna design the blog section. So I'm gonna copy this intro row. So copied, and here I'm gonna create a section tag. This is going to be blog. I'm gonna create a container, and I'm going to put a row here. So this will be our blog posts. Okay, so I'm going to design the blog. So we have an image and some text. So I'm going to create another row. Inside this row I'm going to create a column LG4. Okay, so I'm going to create a class blog post. I'm going to put an image. And I'm going to select blog post one image. Okay, so then I'm going to create another class. This will be content. I'm going to type blog post content. Okay, so I'm going to create anchor tag. This is going to be, I'm going to name it tag. So, and then I'm going to create a h1 tag or h3. Web design in 2029. Okay, I'm going to copy the text. I'm going to paste the text right here, and then I'm going to create another tag. This is going to be custom link, and this will say read more. Okay, so I'm going to design this. This should be 4. Awesome. So I'm going to design this. So I'm going to select blog post. Okay, so I'm going to select the image. Border top left radius is going to be the border radius. Okay, so as you can see here, and border top right radius is going to be the border radius as well. Okay, and then I'm going to select blog post tag. I'm going to give a padding 4 pixel 12 pixel, and text transform will be uppercase. Font size going to be 10 pixel, and font weight is going to be 700. I'm going to increase the size to 12 pixel, and the background color is going to be brand color. Okay, and the color is going to be white, and I'm going to give a border radius like 2 pixel or 3. Okay, so and I'm going to give custom cart class. So as you can see on hover, awesome. So I'm going to select blog post content. I'm going to give a padding 24 pixel, So let's see, blog post. Okay, so we have some padding now. I think 28 will be fine. And the text should be in the center. So I'm going to select blog post, text align center. Okay, so now I'm going to adjust the spacing. So I'm going to select blog post H4. I'm going to give a margin top 12 pixel. Okay, so yeah, now the other spacing is looking fine. So I'm going to duplicate this card. So I'm going to format this with Beautify plugin. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this. This will be blog post 3 and 2. Okay, so as you can see, looking nice. Excuse me. Okay, so now I'm gonna design the contact us section. So I'm gonna copy this row. Okay, and here I'm going to create a section. I'm going to give ID contact, and here I'm going to create a row. I'm going to paste it here. Okay, this will be, the row should be inside a container. Okay, and I'm going to change the background color for the blog post. I'm going to create a class. I'm going to give a class BG light. Okay, and this section should be white. So I'm going to create another row. Inside this row, I'm gonna put column LG7. So I'm gonna put a form here in this column. So I'm gonna rename this to get in touch. So I'm gonna put a form. Okay, so this form should be a row. I'm gonna create another class form group. Okay, inside this I'm gonna put input field, and I'm gonna give a class form control, and the placeholder is going to be enter your name. Okay, and this will cover on LG6 column space. I'm gonna copy and duplicate. Enter your first name. So I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna duplicate this form group. Okay, so we have this form. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. This will be type is equal to email, and enter your email address, and this will cover 12 column space, sorry. And I'm going to duplicate this one more time. This will be type is this will be the subject. I'm gonna put, so let's see, email and subject. So I'm gonna put email. This will be text. Okay, and I'm gonna duplicate this one more time. I'm gonna put text area here. Okay, so I'm gonna type text area, and I'm gonna remove these for now. So this will have 4 column. I'm gonna give a class form control. Okay, and I'm gonna put a button. So I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna put a button here. So the button is going to be the brand button. Send message. Okay, so I'm gonna adjust the space between these. So I want to give 3 rem space. Okay, and also GX3. Okay, so we have equal spacing now, and I'm gonna put the map on the right column. So I'm gonna search for Google Map. Okay, I'm gonna search for the Google Map and click on the first link. And here it is. You can place the address of this company. For example, like the company is located somewhere here. So what you can do, you can click on the share or embed and click on the embed link, and you can copy this. So I have copied the map. Okay, so in this column LG5, I'm gonna paste the map. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we have map on the right column and this on the left column. So I'm gonna give a class. I'm gonna remove this width and height for now, and I'm gonna give a class map. Excuse me. Okay, so we have this map now. So I'm gonna design this contact form. So I'm gonna put contact. Okay, I'm gonna design the form first, and then I'm gonna design the map. I'm gonna adjust the spacing. Okay, so I'm gonna select. I'm gonna increase the height for this input field. So I'm gonna select input, and I'm gonna select the form control. Okay, and I'm gonna give a height 49 pixel. Okay, and I'm gonna change the color for the row. So I'm gonna give a BG light color. Okay, so now as you can see, we have this light color, and what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna give a background color white. Okay, and I'm gonna give a border color white as well. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this. Okay, so I'm gonna select contact, then I'm gonna select form control class. I'm gonna give a background color white, and border color white as well. Okay, and I'm gonna give some padding to the form on this column. So I'm gonna select this, and I'm gonna give padding 4 rem, and on LG it's going to be 5 rem. So as you can see, we have some space now, and I don't want the this shadow. So when you click on this form input field, so as you can see, we have this shadow, so I don't need that. So I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna paste that, and I'm gonna select focus. I don't need box shadow to none. So as you can see, we don't have that box shadow. And on hover or on focus, border color is going to be brand color. So as you can see, awesome. And also I'm gonna give a placeholder for the text area. Enter message. Okay, so looking great. So now I'm gonna design this this map. So I'm gonna type contact, then I'm gonna select map class. I'm gonna set the width to 100% and the height to 100% as well. Save it. So as you can see, the map is covering like the full space. Okay, great. Okay, so I think the contact us form is looking fine. So now I'm gonna design this footer section. Okay, so I'm gonna type footer. I'm gonna select footer. I'm gonna type footer top. Okay, so here I'm gonna create a container. I'm gonna create a row, and here I'm gonna create a column. I'm gonna create a column LG4. Okay, here I'm gonna place a logo. I'm gonna search for logo white. Yeah, logo white. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this text. And I'm gonna put social links. So I'm gonna search for team member. I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it right there. Okay, so I'm gonna design this, and for now let me give a background color dark. Okay, so the icon is very large, so I'm gonna give a style width is going to be unset. Okay, so I'm gonna collapse this and I'm gonna create another column. I'm gonna put H6. This will be useful links or information. I'm gonna create an order list. Inside this list, I'm gonna create an anchor tag, and I'm gonna put the text like about us, and I'm gonna duplicate this. So I'm going to rename this to services, and this will be blog. This will be frequently asked questions, and contact us. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this column. Okay, and I'm gonna type company. rename this to our team. This will be pricing, and third one is going to be support, terms and conditions, privacy and policy, and I'm going to duplicate this column. Okay, so I'm going to design the footer top. So I'm going to select footer top. Okay, so I'm going to change the background color. So I'm going to copy this code. Okay, I'm going to paste it right here. Okay, and I'm going to give a padding top and bottom as well, like 100 pixel padding bottom, 100 pixel as well for now. Okay, so I'm going to design this footer top, and I'm going to select the image. So I'm going to give a class to this image. I'm going to give logo footer and select logo footer, and I'm going to give a margin bottom like 16 pixel. Okay, then I'm going to select footer top. I'm going to select so I'm going to select paragraph and these another list items. So I'm going to select footer. Okay, I'm going to select paragraph, then I'm going to select footer. I'm going to select another list item anchor, and the color is going to be 0.5, okay, or 0.6. Okay, and then I'm going to select footer h6, color will be white. Okay, then I'm going to select footer on order list. I don't need that these bullet dots, so I'm going to set to none. Okay, and I'm going to remove the padding as well, padding 0. Awesome. And I'm going to give a margin bottom as well, which is 16 pixel. Margin bottom. Okay, looking nice. And I'm going to push these item to the right side. So what you can do, you can add a class justify content between now. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to push offset on LG 2. Okay, so as you can see, these are now on the right side. Okay, so I'm going to design the footer bottom. Okay, I'm going to create a container. Inside this container, I'm going to create a row, and I'm going to create a column auto. I'm going to copy the copyright text. Okay, I'm going to paste it right here. I'm going to remove the margin bottom from the paragraph, and I'm going to duplicate this. So the text will be crafted or designed by someone. I'm gonna type design by, okay, so so I'm gonna design the footer bottom, so I'm gonna select footer bottom, and give a background color will be brand color, and I'm gonna give a padding top 12 pixel as well. Okay, and I'm going to increase the padding to 16. Okay, and I want these text to be on the left and right side, justify content between. So as you can see, the text is on the right side. Okay, so let's see the responsive on different viewport width. So first I'm gonna view this on 1440, so which is looking fine. So then I'm gonna display this on tablet, so as you can see, and on tablet looking cool. Okay, so here is the thing, at this breakpoint I want to show only like 2 items, so let's see. Yeah, okay, team section is looking fine, and this is also looking great, but as you can see, this is that paragraph text and this title is very close to each other, so I'm gonna fix that. So I'm gonna search for counter or milestone. So I'm gonna select this row, I'm gonna give gutter y 5 frame. So as you can see, we have some space now. Okay, and also I'm gonna give a space to the block section, so I'm gonna select, so I'm gonna display on SM, I'm gonna display, okay, and I want this to be in the center of the screen, so justify content center. Okay, and I'm gonna give a space as well here. Forum will be fine. Yeah, forum is fine, and the contact us form is looking cool, but here is the problem. So as you can see, this is the height is not looking fine, so I'm gonna give a minimum height to the map, minimum height something like 400 pixel, so as you can see, which is looking fine. And let's see on the footer, so these footer items are very close, so I'm gonna give a space, so I'm gonna select footer top, I'm gonna give a space like gutter forum. Okay, so we have some space now, and let's see on the mobile. So our footer is looking fine. Okay, this is also looking good. So the team section, we need to give some space, so I'm gonna select the team section, I'm gonna give gutter forum. Okay, so we have some space now, and this is looking good. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, so please leave a like, and if you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section. And yeah, see you in the next video.